Welcome back to the Sandy Hahn podcast. This is episode 43. Wow, pretty amazing. And this one's going to be called the Yellow House, guys, because we all lived in the Yellow House back in Bowling Green days when we were SAEs. And these guys have been longtime friends, and we've got some crazy stories. Hopefully, nothing will be too harsh, but I'm going to introduce all these guys to everyone. I know there's a lot of people watching too that would really want to interested in hearing about you guys. I get a lot of people who ask about you, and this would be a nice way to give them some updates on what you guys are doing. So I'm just going to go around the screen to see if there's Pat Nolta, there's Slade McGoran, Billy Imber, Riggs Barr. And did I forget anyone?
That's it for now.
That's it. Yeah, a few others couldn't make it, but that's okay. We can always do some more.
I think we're authorized to speak on their behalf.
What's that?
I said I think we're authorized to speak on their behalf. If they don't show up, you know what happens? They get dug in.
Yes. Well, I'd like to have this look back on this year with what. We'll start with you, Billy, since you and I were roommates. What are some of your early memories of when we first met?
Oh God, I was hoping you would start with me because I distinctly remember the Rush party at the SAE house when you came in, and you were rocking basically like the Cleveland. You had that gold necklace. You had that kind of mullet going, the shirt open, the loafers, just he looked like he was an extra in the Two Wild and Crazy Guys skit from SNL back in the day. And I'm like, who the fuck is this kid, man? It's like, hey, how you doing? Give me some of those naked lady tees, some of those. But it was just so funny because it was like, obviously, first impressions don't mean shit here. But I was like, what in the world is going on here? Because I remember you and Bone talking about, like in your podcast, like when you two first met, you're like, what is this dude? But yeah, so I just distinctly remember that first impression. But obviously, we've come a long way since then. But yeah, man, we'll get into some stories about when Sandy and I roomed together at the SAE house, and some of the fun, the mystery cooler story was always a good one. We'll get into that.
Oh boy, yeah, there's a
stuff.
couple.
But by way of introduction, though, as you referenced, I'm still living in Chicago and holding it down.
Dylan now?
He's 14 now, taller than me. Yeah, so he's 8th grade. He'll be a freshman in high school next year. So we're still holding it down in Wrigleyville, and I'll pass it along. Let's see, who's next? Rigo, you're underneath me.
Yeah, there's Rigo.
I'm up. All right. Let's see. I'll start with my bio. In Denver, moved out here about almost 8 years ago, which is crazy. Got 2 boys, Cooper and Rowdy, and they are 15 and 12. In fact, I just took Cooper to get his driver permit today, so that's momentous.
Wow.
I'm out here making steel stuff. Yeah, it's all good.
Do a little pitch. What's your website?
It's Rigo Design, RIGGO design.com.
Yeah, very cool stuff out there. I can't believe it's been 8 years already.
I know.
Mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling. Yeah, it is flown. I've got no regrets about being out here. It's gorgeous, and everybody seems to be loving it. So, all good. On the downer tip, my mom passed away a couple weeks ago. So
sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But yeah, it was a long time coming. Anyway, so I've been going back to Ohio quite a bit. Actually going out there again next week. So, and as far as first memories of you, I have zero. So I have no idea.
What's your name again?
Who you are? We don't even know.
What is this show? What
Nothing.
podcast
Am I on the right call? I don't know.
There was
Um,
one? There was one?
It was probably all of you guys was probably when I first came to get your signatures from the fraternity house.
Yeah.
But then after that it was I remember I liked you and Robbie T. I liked the cut of your jib, but took us a while before we really started doing stuff. But then once we all started hanging out together, certainly the Yellow House things sort of went nuts. It was
Pretty effortless. Yeah, for sure.
so.
And
Then
And
we got
Chicago.
Mr. Pat Nolta. Hello. Where are you actually at in Florida? Too? I forgot to ask.
Yeah, I'm actually in Estero, which is
Oh yeah.
in Fort Myers and Naples, Bonita Springs, that kind of neck of the woods. But
So when I was down in Florida, I was actually in like Punta Gorda, right near you. I think.
yeah, no,
But
you were having a rough day. We were
I
going to try
had
to
a
get
rough
together.
week. The whole Florida
Yeah.
trip. So and I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah, you just have to get down here again.
Yes, absolutely. So
Yeah,
we're-
so we moved down here
What?
a year ago, and we've been like nomads. We've actually moved 5 times in a year. We keep thinking the house is going to be done, and then the rental will expire. We got to go find another rental. So it's been quite the adventure. But I just quit my job and joined the Live Tour. Decided I'm going to be a golfer. That's my my calling. No, I'm still working for Frontier. I'm Miami-based, number 3 on the seniority list. So I'm living a freaking charmed life. It's been awesome. Yeah, it's kids are grown. I've got one up in Charlotte. My youngest, Landon, he commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Army, but he's got a reserve slot right now, and he's actually possibly getting deployed in October. So we're kind of stressing about that, but of course. And then Pierce, our oldest, 25, he is down here as well. He things kind of just ran out of steam in Denver. All of his buddies left, and he said, I like where you guys are living. I want to try something new, and so he's down here as well. Not first memory, but definitely significant memory was when you and Mary Beth, I would see Mary Beth, and she would say, "Hey, what's the story with friend Sandy? We saw him at the Yellow House party, with the DJs and stuff." And then I'd see you, and you'd be like, "Hey, that girl that you went to high school with that you tried to date, but
you cock blocked me. You were cock blocking me.
yeah." So
Son of a bitch.
So I just that was the first thing, just hearing you two guys chewing my ear individually about each other, and obviously a great memory that has lasted your whole life, and great couple, great family. So
Yeah. 30
days
years
now.
it'll be 30 years in September. Can't believe it.
Yeah.
But I remember that too, because she would always come over because you guys were friends, and I think you wanted it to be more than friends, so you were
Yes, he did.
keep me out of the way. But luckily, I
We tried it, but we both laughed about it. We're like, we were buddies from high school, and then Kim was there, so they'd always be stopping by the Yellow or the fraternity house. Yeah.
that's funny stuff. Slato,
Hello.
huh?
Still in Milwaukee. My 2 out of my 3 girls are in Milwaukee. Maggie is down in Chicago. 28, 26, 24, and my son Christopher is a senior at Madison. So empty nesters, and
Are you
still
building a house in Florida?
building a house in Florida. Gonna spend half and half, hopefully, down the way. We'll see. and then still slinging paper, still the office guy. So selling paper.
Good for you.
Steve Carell.
Yep.
Well, these guys, go back to that, since Noltz mentioned that one night, and it was, how long ago was that when you guys, it was Noltz, Slade,
Burke,
Burke,
AP,
KP,
Lawrence.
Yep.
and they well,
Katie came out.
even you guys came into this little bar called Ironwood. You kept, I'm like, what the
Yeah.
what's going on here? And then I remember I called Tom Lawrence. I'm like, you're not going to believe who's up here. And he sent a picture. There was no way. So then he came out, and then that night went kind of a little crazy, to say the least. And I think you were supposed to stay the whole weekend, but we got after it so hard that night. Everyone, I think, was tapped out and went home.
It seems to be a theme, sort of.
Yeah, you guys did that for the football game too?
Yeah, the Ohio State game.
Oh my gosh, that was
one
awesome.
and done.
If
That
you
was
do it
supposed to
right
be-
the first night, why drag it out? I said.
I guess.
Yeah.
Fair
Well,
point.
we were actually gonna catch up and actually talk about ourselves and what we were doing, but I guess that's not necessary.
Yeah.
To be fair, Sandy wasn't there. So what's the point of
Right.
catching Sandy isn't there?
That's right. Well, I couldn't make it. I was having. I mean, I've had such a roller coaster the past few years that I'm even shocked that I'm sitting here talking, not shaking. Talking, you can, understand me. I think I still slur occasionally, but there's a lot of times where I was a different person. Even, last week where I couldn't get out of bed, and it's just what's happened this past week. I just, it's hard to put into words how good I feel and how I want to keep going, and it's just
Positivity, Sandy.
yeah.
You got a lot of it.
I've stayed that way, even though it was difficult this past year, when I couldn't move, and I was in and out of the hospital. I thought I was dying. I wanted to die. I don't want to live I can't live like this. But I kept, I would meditate a lot and keep thinking I can. Why can't I be that 1% who beats the disease? And after seeing a lot of people who would meditate and see them do it, I'm like, well, I can. And the fact that it's starting to happen is just, it's almost hard for me to even understand, but I'm going to take it slow because I'm enjoying all this stuff. I don't want to push it too far and, hurt myself or try and walk too much and fall. So I'm going to take my time doing it, but, doing these podcasts again, initially was I didn't because it was so therapeutic to talk about what I was going through, and now it's become going to take a life of its own because I want to have more guests on and talk to people about the past, so I can have stuff to remember. My kids will have stuff to look at, but initially I was thinking, well, because I'll do this for a couple of years and I may not be around for that, but now I'm thinking differently that I can beat this. Now I don't want to keep doing this just for entertainment because it gives me something to do. I mean, literally, I don't do anything. This is really giving me something to do, and that's how much I appreciate you guys finally coming on. I know it took a while. I had to schedule, and then I had to reschedule a lot because I would have horrible days. Even just that was last fall, and to now come to this point again, I want to thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to me. So let's start with well, we'll talk about that night. What happened that night after you guys? We trashed my house. So we started.
Well,
there was
we
food
went
fight
back
and
from the bar, which you drove me, which was a little bit suspect.
Yeah.
But when we got to your house, Mary Beth was unbelievable. She pulled out pictures that were, whatever, 25, 30 years old from college. And we had it was incredible looking at some of those pictures. And then Nolta drank too much bourbon and started wrestling people.
I don't think that's the fabrication. There's no truth to that at all. No.
I believe
Cool it.
I'm not blowing smoke up her ass because she's not here, but God, I mean, just think of all the shit that we put MB through. Not even just so there's a special place in heaven for that woman, Sandy. She's stuck with all of our shenanigans throughout the years, and just God knows what she's had to put up with. So
yeah, well, she loves you guys. Remember, you guys that came over, and she's just brought. I mean, she was a part of it. Everything we went through in Bowling Green, she was always there, and she still continues to allow me to do. I mean, some of the stupidest things. I mean, there's just again so many things that any normal woman wouldn't let you do. I mean, from on a whim, it was Thanksgiving, I don't know, years ago. Billy comes in town. It's a Tuesday night. He comes in, decides to stay overnight. We go out and we get absolutely hammered. We come home, and I decided that I bust out trimmers. I wanted to shave my head. And he comes walking down in the morning. There's my hair.
Hang on. If I may, sir.
Take it.
If I may. So, all right. So MB goes to bed. We'd been out all night. We sit at his kitchen table, and they had one of those humongous, like Thanksgiving sized bottles of Grey Goose. That thing wasn't full in the morning. I'll say that, right? So we start getting into it, and then Sandy's like, as he said, he's like, dude, I want to shave my head. I'm like, dude, I don't think that's a good idea. You got, family coming over. You guys are doing your picture tomorrow. He's like, look, fucker, if you don't do it, I will. So I didn't go get the trimmers. You fucking went to trimmers, and you were about ready. I'm like, okay, if we're going to do it, let's do it. So over the sink we go, shave his head. And then we eventually tap out for the night. I come down in the morning. MB is like, hey, Billy, how you doing? Good morning. You want some coffee? And I'm like, and then I look over and Sandy's cowering on the couch and just looks over at me and goes, and I'm like, oh, no, MB, I think I'm good. And then it's like, so she's like, everything was all hunky-dory, but I think she was less than pleased that Sandy was rocking a new hairdo for the family Thanksgiving folk.
They came over. Thanksgiving was in 2 days. My in-laws came over Wednesday night to have dinner, like a regular dinner for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And they're sitting around the kitchen table. I'm just giggling. They're kind of looking at me. And my head was shaved.
I mean, there was no guard. It was full on, right down to the
And I don't think Mary Beth talked to me for a few days. She was just so angry. But I loved it. I mean, Rico, when did you start shaving your head? I remember you used to have that long mane.
Well, that's part of the reason.
When did Kenny G become Kojak?
Right, exactly. I heard enough similarities. Kenny G, Manson, Howard Stern,
Bolton.
Gee, I can't forget that. So it was
Mel Gibson.
Well, sure. And my brother's 4.5 years older, so I saw what was coming down the pike. So I'm like, if I lose 3 more hairs, it's all going. So Christina, my wife, and I, we were down in Miami for Halloween in '98, and I decided that was enough. So kind of like your guys' story, she busted out the trimmers and shaved my head in Miami Beach. So
I think it was actually Chief that had inspired you with his Presley short.
I wanted to look like his nipples. That was my goal.
Well, just make it a little more coat-like, and you'd be fine. You'd be right there.
Yeah.
I remember he'd come walking out of his bedroom, still with remnants of shave cream outside the perimeter of where he shaved. And I just look at him and I said, "What in God's name are you doing?" Oh, I just love it. They love it. There you go. What girl? Give me names. I want to.
Is the chief still involved? I thought I'd heard that the SE house is back and at Bowling Green, because I know they lost it for a while.
Yeah.
And it was back, and I think maybe, he probably doesn't have a life, so he wants to get back and relive the old days. Get his job back at the Crunchers chip factory.
I hope he patched things up with Spielman. That's my hope.
What happened there?
Don't you remember the story of high school football?
No.
Well, in Ohio Maslin.
He was up against Chris Spielman, and Spielman was like running back or something, or he was making a run, and
I can't believe you're dusting this shit off.
Knocked him down, leveled him, and stood over him and reached in his face mask and pulled out his braces.
Oh.
You can't make that up.
Oh, that's all Grippy.
Oh.
He's our own little George Santos. Yeah. I spent Grippy's mug keeps popping up on my Facebook of people who I might know. So.
Yeah, are you going to reach out to him?
I got enough friends now, I think.
Rigo, tell the homecoming name tag story. You gotta go. If we're going, let's go. If we're going, let's go.
What was it? Was it the next year or 2 years?
Man, it was like homecoming a few years after. We go to the SAE house. Take it.
Right. And so, I think I went in with Cress and whoever else. Probably Billy. And Grippy comes walking up. He's like, "Hey, Rigo, long time no see." And I said, "It's not been long enough." So I didn't care much anymore. So it wasn't the nicest response, but it was from the heart. So forgive me, people. Forgive me, interwebs.
I was just thinking about that. You mentioned your brother. He shaves his head too, right?
He did. He shaved his head on the day of my wedding.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
I remember we went down to the Columbus, I think, just a party, and we were at his apartment.
Oh yeah, it might have been a BG Ohio State game, maybe.
It may have been, but we were just going to a party, and that's when he had a pet rat.
Got plenty of those here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said we got plenty of those here in Chicago. Plenty of pet rats.
Virgo, Tim, I didn't even know that happened. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, there's a big fucking rat in my leg, and I about shit myself.
It wasn't a sewer rat. It's a little cute black and white hooded rat.
But yeah, I don't know about that.
It caught you a little off guard. And to go full circle, now his son, who's going to University of Cincinnati, he has a pet rat. So I don't know what to tell you.
Is that a thing?
Is this a good segue into your gerbil story, Nolta?
Yeah.
My gerbil story? What in the hell are you talking about?
It's a guinea pig.
I'm just making shit up.
There is a story, though, the Yellow House story that Sandy, you guys weren't privy to, because he and I were living in the Yellow House one summer.
Oh, boy.
Remember, Sandy, we had the...
Is that when you had the waterbed in the back room?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
That was a luxury. Were you there?
Slate was upstairs.
Yeah, I was upstairs.
Okay, well, Sandy and I had a class together. Was it accounting or econ? It was something over, and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning, and we hated it. And you and I walk over there, and I go to the bathroom, and as I'm coming out, you're going into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Lost you.
Are you there?
He froze up on us.
Rose up.
Another hurricane.
You lost your notes.
Fell off his lawn chair.
I'm wondering which story this is because there's a few that started that way.
Yeah, there's a few. In fact, we had a pretty good summer, Sandy, and I'm embarrassed to say, but at the time, we frequented McDonald's so many times after indulging in many things. We had a 10% discount card for McDonald's.
I remember you used to always get that fucking chicken sandwich with extra mayo.
It was damn good
Extra mayo?
at the time. Yeah,
Yeah, they kinda-
cheese.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, you
I
must
think
be
he
logging
left.
up.
Is he gonna try and rejoin? Or
Thanks.
Candy?
Yeah.
Well, I can't see him, but can you
Yeah,
guys
he
see me or
popped
hear
up.
me? Oh, there you are.
Yeah. It didn't one summer, Sandy, you and I live in a different apartment with two different girls, which one was not, neither were Mary Beth.
Yeah. I don't remember.
What was that? She had red hair. I think she lives in Chicago, Billy.
Oh, Bridget.
Bridget.
Oh, Bridget. Yeah, Hummel.
Bridget Hummel.
Bridget Hummel.
Yeah.
She's still in town. She's down by.
Yeah,
down by,
she moved out of Chicago years ago. She's in
Oh.
Cleveland somewhere, I think.
Oh.
back
Okay.
in Akron with her. She's married with 3 kids. Her daughter's like spitting images.
Oh my God, yeah, she looks exactly like her. It's hilarious.
It's insane. The red hair and
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy. So I'm curious as to what story. See, I've told this before, and I'm pretty sure it was in summer school. It was hot as shit. We had no air conditioning. I think Rico was there one summer too.
Probably.
At least one or two.
Yeah.
And boy, we basically went out every single night.
Right.
And but as long as you went out, you didn't go crazy. Get up, show up to your class. You didn't really have to study much. You just sort of went to it, and but there was, I don't know if it was summer. I think it was. I just can't remember I'll tell the story because it involved. Well, it was me getting very much in trouble. Almost one of the several times I almost got kicked out of college. But let's just say there were some tests that found their way back into some hands for accounting, and I was studying these tests. And let's just say there were some fraternity brothers of ours who got their hands on them and copied them. I won't say the names here because we don't want to get anyone in trouble. But I think the statute of limitations is run out on that now. But I studied these tests, and I just was kind of memorizing them all. And went back in the fall. And the first test was the exact same test. I got 105%. I finished in 20 minutes, and I went up and turned it in. And I'm like, oh God, that was not smart. Because nobody finished it. It's accounting. It's fucking difficult. So that second test came around. I finished it. I took my time. I got 95%. Turned in them, and then it was me, it was Knowles, I think in the same class, and some other like pledges, and some came up to like you know, oh, we heard about these stolen tests. I'm like, shut the fuck up. And somebody heard something, got back, they changed the test, the third one, and I got like 30% because I had no clue. And I think I used Billy as an excuse because they heard there were stolen tests, and I got called into the dean, and I said, my roommate they said somebody in your family died, and so I didn't study, so I had to come out and hang out with you and console you. And the guy's like, I don't believe you. I'm going to find out who did this, and I want you out of this college. And I said, yeah, go for it. Yeah, no, it didn't happen. And I ran back to the yellow house and started calling everyone, just saying how to, don't answer your phone, shut your mouth. And so that was a doozy. And then, Billy, we got it. I was telling the story about the snowballs at the outside of Mark's. And Ringo, I think you were there.
Yeah.
Because I think you got somebody named some names. Of course, I was the only one who got it. What is your recollection of that? Because I know mine. I know it started.
My recollection, and it was a very cold night, I believe, or it was a warmer. There was snow on the ground, but it was warmer, so it was good snowball weather. And we're in line to go into Mark's, and somebody started chucking snowballs, and then somebody started chucking them at the SBX sign, their little marquee sign. And snowballs were flying, and people were tagging that marquee and popping the letters off and all that. And I did not throw snowballs because I did not have gloves. So I wanted to, but I didn't. And then somebody, SBX offered a reward or whatever, and for names. And somebody, I forget who it was either like Sigma Chi's or Kappa Sigs, somebody pointed me out to the cops and said this guy was doing it. So I have no idea who that was. So they came, and the cops showed up at the SAE house. It was a Wednesday, and it was the same Wednesday that U2 Joshua Tree was released. I remember that. And so they took me in and said, we got people saying that you were doing it and all this. I'm like, oh, thank God it was for this, because I'm innocent and all that. Ended up going to court, and my folks came up.
Wait, you had to go to court?
Yep.
I thought I was the only one.
No, I went, and the witness didn't show up, so the case got tossed. So yeah, that was a lot of stress that wasn't needed.
Well, I got busted because I admitted to it. Because I'd taken I got a B and an I for Billy. We were standing there, and I was so proud of myself that I could pelt these letters off and got a B and an I. And when that cop came to the Bowling Green house and knocked on the door, the letters over the B and the I were above in the light fixture above.
Took the plastic down off the fluorescent thing and put the B and the I in the light. Like as the cops are knocking on the door to get him out, if they would have just looked up, there were the two letters right in the light fixture in our room. So, yeah.
I think I remember, we were both sleeping, hungover, and I think I got up and like, who's this? And I sort of waved to Bill, like, get those things down. And they came in and brought us in for questioning. And again, I admitted it. I said, look, I didn't bust up the sign. I knocked up two letters, and I took two letters from my buddy. Everyone else got up, apparently. I didn't realize anyone. Did anyone else go to court, Rico? As far as you know?
I think it was just you guys. I didn't.
I
All I
don't
know
think
is yeah, both of you win mobster points for not ratting anyone else out. But yeah,
Yeah, that's the only I said, because they were wanting to know. I'm like, I took some letters, but that sign got absolutely destroyed. There was just snowballs flying. I mean, that was funny,
good.
it's a good one.
funny stuff.
Yeah.
I
Well,
still
I
have those. Those letters are still in my storage unit somewhere, by the way.
You still have them?
Yep.
I tried to text Knowles to say, because Tyler opened the thing back up, so if he wants to try and rejoin, he can. Knowles.
Burke said he got tied up in work, and so did Robbie T. I heard back from those guys, so
That's
gives
all
us an excuse to do another one, Sandy.
Yeah. And KP was in the air.
Like that's an excuse. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm flying.
Put the autopilot on and
Oh,
get on
really?
Zoom.
On. Jeez.
He's gonna go ahead. He's gonna rearrange the. Oh. Let's wait a second. See if he rejoins. I'm interested to see which story he was going to tell, because there was a lot of good stories of that summer.
I can offer that when you said that summer, I was never at summer school, but when you said you went out every night, I'm like, well, how is that different than the
it was warmer.
pretty much regular standard operating procedure was to go out every night. So
Certainly the first few years when I got in the house, and when I was roommates with Billy, and I remember Brigo and T were across the hall down a little bit, and then next to us was Jerry Stair and somebody else. And the one semester, I would park my car in front of the SE house and leave it there. I would get 3 tickets a day. I didn't care. And I stopped going to class and was going out with Jerry Stair every single night. I stopped going to class, and negotiating with teachers at the end. I got like a 1.5 GPA and $800 in parking tickets on my car. When the bill came home from my dad, I was almost murdered. He's just, needless to say, I didn't have a car anymore. He took the car away, and I think at that point, that's when I started maybe trying a little bit more. That's why
at least going to class.
What's that?
At least going to class.
Yes.
Couldn't you get Cronenberger to rig up the parking meter so you wouldn't get the tickets? Does anybody remember that, or is that just me?
No, didn't he take a Dremel and drill through the thing, so the meter thing, and he put a pin in the meter? Yeah, I remember that.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty ingenious, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he could drill the hole with his eyes
And
burning.
didn't 1 year, or maybe it was during summer? No, it couldn't have been during summer school. What during one semester? Didn't Pat and not Nolta, but
Pat Shea and Eric.
Pat Shea and Eric lived
in the basement.
Oh God, of the Yellow House. Grippy lived down there 1 year too, but that basement of that house was the stuff of horror movies.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
I mean, the house in and of itself, without the basement involved, was disgusting. Let's start there.
Yeah.
And then that basement, man, I never went down there. I mean, that was like Freddy Krueger in the boiler kind of shit.
I don't know how those guys live down there.
I remember there was one. I got a few stories about that, because when I first moved in there in the summer, my mom was like, she came in and started cleaning. I think Imka was there too. God, so many stories about him. He's fucking nuts. He couldn't believe that she was in there like spraying and cleaning all the stuff. And then quickly got nasty again. And one time I went and the dishes were all piled up. And I remember looking in the sink, and it looked like rice, but it wasn't rice. It was fucking maggots that started all pouring. I'm like, ah! And I threw all the dishes away. Everything in the sink. I threw it in the garbage, put it back, and cool, but grippy. It's like, well, why'd you throw? We could have washed those. I'm like, you want to? You have dishes that maggots all over them. You go right ahead, you dumbass. And then so those two lived down there in the basement. I would go down there and smoke weed with them and listen to tunes. And then there was one I'll never forget because Mary Beth was sleeping over. She slept over a lot, and Noltz was in his room right next to us. And let's just say we could smell something that was horrible. One of those guys brought somebody home from the bars late at night, and it was this nasty girl. And let's just say it stunk up the whole house. We threw the mattress away. We told her, get that fucking mattress and get it out of here, because it was just, I know that's a horrible story, but that shit happened. The place was not. There was one other place where we lived. I think it was that senior Slade. Didn't we live in the at a little apartment? It was maybe
those little apartments near the Alpha Phi house or something.
Yeah. Over the tracks. It was me, you, KP, and Ferk.
Maybe, yeah.
That was just for like the last semester because we graduated in December.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. With the yeah. That was. You guys all had about, I don't know, 6 credits to graduate, and I had about 16, and I went out every night.
Yeah, that was quite a doozy.
The Yellow House got mowed down years ago, right? I mean, it's just a vacant lot.
Is it not? They tore it down?
Oh yeah, there's nothing there.
Nothing but memories and demons.
Yes.
And DNA samples.
Probably a good thing.
Who was it? Imka that threw the hockey stick into the wall. Mm-hmm. Anyone remember that? And it just stuck in there.
Yep.
And it was there for like a semester.
Yeah.
It was like a coat rack.
We would throw stuff. They had the party. There was that fan over that little bar.
Yeah.
And then we just started throwing shit into it, and it fly into the wall. I think Imka got burned, maybe me, and just stuck my head in the fan.
Imka started that trend of stopping ceiling fans with your head.
Yeah,
and then that became kind of the party trick de rigueur of, or who's going to stick their head in the ceiling fan tonight, right? So
I wonder where anyone hear from him or know of where he.
I mean, this is a million years ago, but I think he was.
God, was he funny? He was so funny. And then,
he was part of the Heights crew, right? East Side guys, Bunch, Imka, Barkley, all those dudes. Barkley's in your hood now, right?
Yeah, I still see. Is Pat trying to come back? I think Pat's trying to get back on here.
It might be me. My battery's about to die, and I'm afraid I went black. So.
Oh, there's Pat. You there?
I think China sent another balloon over me and disrupted my signal.
So
nice.
Yeah. So Noltz, you're back.
Yeah.
What was you blacked out? The story stopped. I don't know if it was summer. You said we were.
Well, it was the one where you and I went to that accounting class. We had a real hard night out the night before, and you went into the bathroom. I'd come out. We sat next to each other, and next thing you know, you're nowhere to be found. So class goes on. I go back to the house. You've already gone back to bed, and go ahead and finish the story. Tell everybody what happened that morning. Wearing those baggy.
Yes, I actually told this story in one of my earlier podcasts. It's very interesting. So I woke up. We walked to class, and in summer school, I'm wearing the same clothes. I'm at boxers on. I put a pair of baggy shorts, t-shirt, hat, backpack, go to class. And so I stopped up in the bathroom, and I'm thinking I had to pee, and I'm like, I think I got a little fart. And I'm just like, I'm gonna fart. I shit down my pants in my shoe on the floor. I mean, thank God there's nobody sitting next to me. It's like, oh my God, there's shit everywhere. I'm waddling back into the stall. I'm like, oh my God. And I had my favorite pair of Florida Gator boxers on, which you're right, threw those away. Try to clean up, and then I kept classes canceled. I walked right straight back home and took a shower, and then got back in bed. Mary was like, "What happened?" My class was canceled, and notes came back, and I don't know if I told you the whole story right then or eventually, but
I don't think you said it. You told MB right away because you and I were like on double secret probation on that class. It was yeah, that lady hated us.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you missed. Well, we kept talking. We missed you, but boy, there's so many of those summers. The one notes that I remember, that one of the funnest ones we had, and I will refrain from saying certain things if you would not like, but let's just say me
I
and
know where you're going.
me and Mary Beth and Pat and Pamela, Pam. I won't say last name, but we went camping up in Canada. Just the four of us. It was hot as balls. I don't know why did we do that? Was that your idea?
Sure. It was my idea, I'm sure. Yeah.
We're in a campground, just the four of us, and we have tents. And let's just say it's hot as hell. And the noises coming out of the other tent were like waking the campground. And I was quite jealous. It was
Again, I know nothing of what you're saying.
Was it sobbing? Was a lot of crying?
It was.
Yeah, there was a role playing of some sort of, I'm sure, but yeah.
Bible readings. Got a little carried away.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy gets me every time.
The hunter bear thing, or yeah.
I think I was the Canadian Mountie on that one. So.
Yes, she was enjoying it, and then I was using that as some incentive to try and get Mary Beth to get in the mood, but didn't happen. It was like 105 degrees. It was just baking.
I just remember the next morning, like you and I were having coffee or something, and you gave me a play-by-play reenactment, like word for word of everything that had gone on. I mean, you were definitely listening intently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What else am I gonna do? It's all I could hear. God, was that crazy? And then the spring break stories. Boy, there was one. Did we all go down to Daytona and some managed to end up being there? I remember me and Billy drove down once.
We drove down the one time, and then we hooked up with, I think, Nolds, and then I don't know if it was that year that we continued down and went to Slater. But then the one year we picked up Rigo right after he had his surgery.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
His jaw.
Yeah, you were all wired shut. I remember.
Yep. Yeah, we actually those guys came down to Gasparilla and it took them I don't know, maybe 5 minutes of being on the island to say this isn't gonna work because this is boring as shit. And even though like Riggs couldn't even talk, and you know my mom's like feeding him, and and so we said, hey, can we borrow the car? We're gonna go to Fort Myers Beach, and you know, no doubt we'll hook up with some women. I mean, absolutely no doubt, and we'll just spend the night. And I think it was Ferk and Riggs and Billy and I, and yeah, we sure hooked up. We found ourselves at 4 a.m. sleeping in the station wagon, and then driving back to my parents. And then I think a day later, these guys left and said, I'm going over to Daytona or something.
Well, I was looking good at that point because having my jaw wired shut, I'd lost 35 pounds and my face was swollen. So I was looking pretty sweet.
Yeah.
At the top of my game.
You were cut. I got a great picture of you on the beach. Yeah.
You did. Yeah, you're the trigger man on that. That was a good
Yeah.
shot.
The Toyota jump between the three of you.
We're staying at different places, but I remember, didn't we all say the one at your parents' place, Slade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slept
That-
with
that's
that.
I tried to get his parents divorced that night. I think it was. I think
Yeah.
that was it.
Yep.
Got Terry in all sorts of trouble.
Yep.
Yeah,
Fuck it, Gary, you're already in trouble. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, you're already in trouble and hammered. Why don't you get more hammered with us?
Right. She's going to be mad at you anyway, so let's go.
Yeah.
And he bought into that logic real quick.
That was sound logic, Rigo.
Yep.
Hey,
How long did they have that place, Slato?
20 years, a little longer. So they've kind of moved across the street now. They're not on the beach side anymore. They're on the inland side.
And then I don't even remember how we went to Siesta Key. So my parents,
Yep.
thanks Billy, and then we went to Slade. And then we ended up, I don't know if it's the same trip. We ended up at Daytona with nowhere to stay. I think we ran into all these different guys. I remember one night we didn't have a hotel room. I slept in a chair in a hotel room with some strangers.
The first time we drove down to Daytona, we pulled in. I still have that picture of you and I getting out of the car and like pointing like, where do we go now? Because we had no fucking game plan at all, other than we were in Daytona. And Nolta, I think you had a room or you were somewhere in and around there, and then we ended up just kind of bogarting our way into like somebody's room, and like you say, we just slept on.
Well, I think it was Ferk's high school buddies' room. That's where we crashed. And yeah, Ferk and I went down in his Geo Metro and met down there. Remember that thing? I remember he thought he was a big trucker in that thing. It was so funny. But yeah, we went down there and we ended up, and that was the year. Didn't you do a spot with Larry Bud Melman, Sandy?
Oh my God, that's right. I was
Yeah.
supposed to be in a
TV.
movie clip, or like they filmed me in Larry Bob Melman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like MTV Spring Break or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they picked me out of the crowd, and it started. I don't know if it ever played. It was something stupid, but oh wow, that's.
I think it was your sweet haircut. You were sporting the
Oh,
mullet.
I had the
Yeah.
mullet, the sweet
Yeah.
mullet going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought that down.
Well, and back then we didn't have the cell phones, so you just kind of
Oh yeah.
wandered around.
Yeah, how did we-
I
Where the next people were.
don't have a lot of pictures of back in those days when I had that mullet, because it came from my freshman year in Florida when I was a complete cheese dick. I had the mullet, I had an earring, a hoop with a chain and a cross,
Like a
I
pirate?
had a gold necklace with my
That
Libra,
gold medallion
I had
necklace.
gold bracelets, I had rings. I was like, what's up?
That's the outfit you were rocking when you rolled into Pledge. It was like the Andrew Dice Clay starter kit.
Where- I forget, Sandy. Where'd you go?
I went to University of South Florida in Tampa,
Yeah. Okay.
and I thought, it was so bad. The freshman orientation dance, I wore a white Don Johnson, like Miami Vice sport coat, pink
I gotta
and
see a
blue
picture of
design
that.
shirt, bright blue pants, a white belt, and white Capizio shoes with all that shit. And I'm like, oh yeah. Then I kept. I had jeans with no pockets on the ass. I go out dancing. I mean,
Oh my
I can say this now because even when I'm saying it, I'm like, oh my God, what are they thinking? By the time I get to Bowling Green, maybe it was Billy who kind of smacked some sense in me. Like, you can't. But I'd go out to the bars like that initially, and I got nothing. Nobody's giving me a second look until I cut my fucking hair and then rolled my jeans up and tried to look like all the other Bowling Green guys because that look did not work at Bowling Green.
Well, you would have had the gold grill, except I think Chris Spielman pulled that off you too when after he was done with Chief.
I certainly wouldn't have. Mary Beth says, she goes, yeah, I don't recall you looking like that because I guarantee you I wouldn't have come anywhere near you. I understand.
That probably didn't take Billy more than a week to set you straight.
Yes.
You know, I'm always so tactful and reserved, though, Slade. You know? Oh boy.
Yeah, that was good times, fellas. So I really appreciate you guys coming on. This is meaningful, more meaningful to me than I can talk about. What is that?
What do we got?
That's like an old black and white photo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you pan to the right a little bit, you'll see a very hungover me, I think.
Yeah, you're in that one, Rigo, I think. Yeah, you're right next to me, front.
Yeah, I look not good.
I think KP and I are in the back, very back there by the wall.
I don't know if I'm in that picture.
I think you were in the other half. It was like, I'm trying to find it, the other half of that photo, but sorry, I only had that one on the ready. I was just flipping through some photos here. But
Big Daddy's got the sunglasses on.
Big Daddy, yeah. Yeah, where is Big Daddy today anyway?
said he got tied up with work shit, so...
I think we lost Rigo. I think he said his battery was dying.
The Chinese balloon's over his house.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Hey, Billy, I came across when I was packing up the house, I was going through memory lane, of course, like you do, and I came across that one sorority party that we got the picture where I'm making, it's like, it's like Hulk Hogan and Jim Duggan or whatever doing, and you're coming down and with a monster fist, and I'm going no, I got the hand out.
Oh, I love it.
We had so much fun at those things.
Oh, God, amazing. Let's do it again.
No, I'm definitely going to try and get back down to Florida. I don't know if I'm going to make it this year. I think at least I'm moving around so good now, because even when I was down there, I was struggling, and I was having a really difficult time getting around. And now I want to get back because I could actually stay, and take care of myself. I mean, what I was doing so bad when I was down there, I had to come back from there. Beth, she had to help me on the plane. It's really amazing to physically feel this much better, and I want to do so many more things now. And I'm starting to go out more, because so many people have texted and called and were trying to get together. In the last 6 months, a lot of times I didn't do anything. So it was impossible to go out and even get in a car. And now I can do that. It's exciting. So I'm looking forward to making memories. And
well, you get down here, a couple more months, we'll have this house. We'll be ready to move in, and Slade, you too, being down here, getting
awesome.
Rigs, whatever. Billy, I know you come down here a fair amount, so keep me posted. We gotta make more of these memories. We're not done. Got to keep doing it.
Well, and I'm excited because again, I was doing these things to have something, to look back on it, something for my wife and kids, because I thought I was gone. I thought I was dying, and now I don't think at all. I believe I can beat this. It's exciting, so I want to make more mirrors. I know we talked about trying to get a plan together to have everyone. I mean, when's the last time you guys took a picture? Just for a football game, right? Is that?
Yeah.
I'd love to do something like that because now I can move and travel, and I don't have to be babysat and be a burden to everyone.
Well, maybe we all try to make an effort to get to the golf outing the weekend before.
Yeah, we have to be careful though. If the golf outing is on Monday, we don't come in too early because everybody will want to leave the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come out of the gate a little too hard.
Yeah. Very true.
And Rigo, if you're able to make it, I'm not going to be golfing. My plan was just to drive around in a cart, smoke a cigar, and get a megaphone and make fun of people and rip on them.
I can do it. My only thing is we're planning a Europe trip right about that time. So
that's all right. Where are you going?
What's that?
Where are you going to go in Europe?
Want to take the boys and give them a bit of a tour. So probably like a Italy, Croatia, maybe south of France sort of thing.
Nice.
TBD, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we were going to try and go to Spain last summer, and that fell through. But Italy, we went to Italy a couple summers ago, and that was absolutely the best trip I've ever been on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but Sorrento down by the Amalfi Coast was my.
Yeah. Christina and I did that, but not with the boys. And we were all locked and loaded to go to Croatia right before the pandemic hit, so that got shook hands. So it's time to
re-up.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard Croatia is absolutely stunning.
Supposed to be spectacular.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. So.
I'm down. I found one while I was putzing around here looking. It's from like Homecoming, I think, probably about 1990. Imca, and then there's this one.
Oh, look at that!
When Sandy and I were wearing like those fucking like acrylic sweaters with like the geometric.
Oh my god, the Bill Cosby sweaters.
Yeah.
You gotta send me some more. Anyone send me pictures. What I can do is. Look what I found. I found the.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Florida.
That's when Rigo was like a Shar-Pei with his skin hanging off him. Like we didn't go there, but like he could only open his jaw like this much, so we had to press all of his food down, and it took him forever to eat because he could just barely open his mouth after having it wired shut for so long.
Well, if you guys come across any of those pictures, text them to me because I can forward them to Tyler, and then when this plays, he can.
Cool.
Pop these little pictures on as we're talking. He's done that before. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, we'll end this right now. I appreciate. Oh, not right now, but I appreciate you guys taking time to get on here. It really means a lot, and I'm glad that you're willing to share your time with me. And again, this has been really special because again, I'm a different person. Even a month ago, wasn't thinking or feeling this way. I'm moving around. I mean, there was another 2 days ago when my trainer came. She recorded me. I was walking back and forth across my bedroom. I didn't think I was going to walk again, and convinced I was going to be in a wheelchair. And that's changed. So, looking forward to making more.
I would like to recommend that we do this again.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love it. This again. This is not only for this podcast. It's for I think for me. Loving to catch up with you guys because we just don't talk enough, and this is a lot of fun. So absolutely, I will do my best to try and do another one and see if we can get for Big Daddy. You always need to have him and his stories on there. And Robbie Hughes said he texted and said he couldn't make it, but he's going to call me tomorrow because we've talked a pretty good amount. He just calls and we just catch up. He checks in on me, which is nice. And he said he was going to, I think, be in town March 31st and talk to details. But I'll have to see him a little bit, and hopefully, brother, we can make something of that event, the golf thing. And even whether you play golf, you guys just you can make it in town, or if we can schedule another trip, whether it be football. I want to get out and do stuff while I still can, because I don't know. The only thing I'm nervous about is I've had moments where I've done good, and then all of a sudden I have a turn for the worse. But I'm not thinking about that anymore. I'm going to keep going and going, and I'm going to do as much as I can while I still can. Which is what everyone should do in life in general is live life to the fullest, and I truly am. So I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know, and we'll do something again. So thank you guys.
All right, buddy.
Love you, Sandy.
Love you guys.
Love you too, man.
See you, bud.
Thanks for
Take
doing
care.
this.
See ya.